So, Jack, thanks for joining us today. Obviously, we're at the spring conference. I just wondered what attracts young people to Ukip, and of course, across the political party, it's mainly we see a lot of middle-aged men. What have you been trying to do to attract a broad diversity of people?
It was education policy that brought me to Ukip, but it's also the straight-talking, no-nonsense, to-the-point party, because the rest of them, quite frankly, lied to generation after generation. And if you want change, Ukip is the party. But in terms of the youth wing, we're at 3,118 members. We've had an 83% increase in just the last 11 months, and we're growing and growing. It's fantastic to see. So I'd say the face of Ukip is changing, and it's great to see that.
And interestingly that you brought up education. Obviously we've seen Nick Clegg go back on his vow. We've seen today Labour come out and said they're going to have £6,000 tuition fees. What do you make of that policy?
I think we want to see tuition fees across the board gone, but it's not something we can do overnight. So Ukip has prioritised STEM subjects. It's something we need a lot more skilled people to go into. Across the board, companies have come out and said there's not enough young people skilled in these things for them to employ and go into jobs. So I think Ukip is in the right position of let's scrap tuition fees for STEM subjects first, and then when we get more money, we'll be able to look at getting rid of them for everything.
And I did see the other day the head of your LGBT wing on Young Independents decided to step down. He cited that he couldn't defend some of the UKIP's candidates. I just wonder what your thoughts on that are.
Well, people move on, and I'm happy for Tom. I've worked with him for a few years now. But when we have problems with our candidates, we've got rid of them. We haven't done like a Lord Reynard, hidden them in the party, and there's other scandals that are growing in Westminster that the public are slowly being made aware of. When there's a problem and a candidate expresses views that aren't appropriate, we've addressed that and got rid of them. We aren't hiding them in our party, so I'm quite proud that Ukip, when we see these problems, we actually deal with them.
Obviously you're dealing with those problems which you've outlined, but isn't the counter-argument that these problems shouldn't come to the fore anyway? Why are these candidates in the past making such remarks?
Well, you probably didn't hear in the media about in Labour there was a paedophilia charge against a member there. There was a Lib Dem councillor putting bombs under people's cars in his area. These stories are happening to all parties. I'm proud of Ukip, the fact that we deal with these issues when they happen and get rid of them. We don't hide them in our membership and wait for the media to get hold of it.
And on the issue of diversity, LGBT rights, what are you guys in Young Independents doing in particular to promote those issues?
Well, we promote issues across the board. We don't target any small group or anything, but we work with them. We've held events with Ukip LGBT Star before, and they're a great team. I enjoy working with Nathan Garbutt, who's deputy chairman for them, and we put on events, but we don't target any small minority because we're not the way that we operate as a party. You'll never see an all-women shortlist in Ukip because we value everyone based on what they bring to the table. We're not a party of tokens, like what we've seen in the others, and I'm proud of that. And people that come to us are really happy with that because you look at young people in other parties, they're just a token, they're someone to go leafleting. People in Ukip actually value me as a young person. That's fantastic to see.
And my final question, we're less than 70 days before the general election. What's the one policy that you can pick out from the UKIP's so far announced manifesto that will attract young people to vote for you guys?
I think it's an education policy that's built on social mobility. We've seen the other parties all signed up to just the way of the comprehensive. And that fails to address the issue that if you've got the money and you live in the right postcode, you've got a great education. But for the rest of the people, if you're academic, you haven't got the skills and support around you to go on to achieve in life. And if you've got technical and vocational skills, you're given 2 hours a week. And quite frankly, that isn't good enough. Ukip are the only party that's saying, let's have decent and hard, long courses on a technical skill. So when you finish, you're actually able to go out and do that job. And also, let's empower young people through grammar schools so that it's not just the richest in society that are born with that silver spoon that go on and achieve in life. But why would Gordon Brown, Boris Johnson, David Cameron, any of them want
Nigel Farage?
But Nigel Farage is proposing a change to the education system. He's not part of the establishment that is happy keeping it as just a posh boys club. And I'm proud that Nigel stands with shoulder to shoulder with working class people and say it's time for change. And if you want change, Ukip is the party for change.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time.